all that much talking about like technique and stuff last week, so I think today maybe we should just chat a little bit about, you know, the basics of singing, breathing for singing, and body alignment and all that kind of stuff. And so I usually, with students, the first thing I want to do is just find out kind of what you've been taught about this stuff. So talk to me a little bit about what you've heard, what you've been taught by your voice teacher in the past about breathing for singing.
Well, I know it's all diaphragm, and if your chest raises, you're probably doing it wrong.
Right, yeah.
So,
yeah. But the you can actually feel the diaphragm. That's the weird thing about it. So it is, you're right, it is happening with the diaphragm, but it's not like you can actually, you're not feeling that happen, you know? So it's because it's an involuntary muscle. So, but what are some things like how you take the breath in to not have that happen, and that you help your diaphragm work efficiently? You've been taught some of that stuff?
Yeah, it was mostly around, she was like 4 beats before you come in, start inhaling.
That's good advice, yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of always thinking like a measure ahead, basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a tendency to kind of take a breath at the last second, especially if it's like a new song you're just learning. We all tend to do that. So yeah, planning ahead is big. I mean, in general, I focus more on the inhalation than the exhalation on how to breathe properly for singing. But my goal for you for the inhalation is to keep things relaxed but also energized. So there's this fine line between, you know, having your body feel free and relaxed but also be like ready to do something big. And you're an athlete, so you can relate. I mean, singing actually is a real athletic event when you really focus, and when you really, especially classical singing. So basically with breathing, you want to be taking your breath in as easily as possible. You have probably been taught to take a yawny breath, right? Go, that kind of feeling. So that's one thing for classical singing that we have to do is take a breath where you feel like your soft palate goes up in the back, and taking a breath like a yawn or sort of sniffing a rose is another way people think about doing that, can be useful for finding that. And you want to just feel like your breath sort of just comes in rather than sucking breath in. When you suck breath in, that creates tension around your neck and in your larynx and everything. And we're always just trying to not have tension around, especially this area of our bodies. So just kind of general points about singing well are, you know, breathing properly, making sure that the breath is working efficiently for you, and also just keeping your body as free as possible and not tightening anything. We all tend to do things like lift our chins up and tighten in funny places, and it's going to happen to some extent, but we try to avoid it as much as possible so that things operate properly. So let's just do a few breathing exercises to get started. I like to do breathing exercises to kind of energize the body and kind of get your breath working for singing, because when we're doing other things all day, it's a different kind of breathing. So just energizing exercises, but also just to focus on what it feels like to breathe properly outside of the tone. So, okay, let's do, first of all, let's just take a nice open breath and exhale on the S and just go as long as possible. Good. Try to feel as consistent as possible with that breath. Good. You have a lot of breath. That's good. And you have a lot of energy. The way you took the breath was really energetic, which is nice. I mean, I think sometimes people are kind of, have very little energy or kind of lethargic the way they sing, the way they breathe for singing, but it sounds like you're raring to go, so that's good. Be careful that your body isn't, tightening a little bit as you do it too. So trying to keep those shoulders as relaxed as possible and standing as tall as you possibly can. You have good alignment compared to a lot of people. But I'll probably still bug you about it. Just to kind of like go off on a tangent for 1 second here. Just thinking about body alignment in general for singing. I always like to start feet up and just think about, do your feet feel balanced? Do you feel like you're at the balls of your feet and you're feeling sort of balanced on both sides? And so you start there. Make sure your knees aren't locked, right? So you always have a little bit of a tiny bit of bend in your knees so that you don't fall over, pass out, or something like that. So check in with that every time you start to sing. What you're doing is nice, like one foot a little bit in front of the other. Sometimes having like a little bit of a turn can be a nice thing. Not like too much, but just like a tiny bit of feeling. It kind of looks nice in front of the audience that way. And then just being as tall as you possibly can, just feeling like you have like a plumb line going all the way through your body, and maybe that feeling of sort of being like a marionette, being sort of dangling from something above, so that your body is just is really, really free and as tall as you possibly can be. I think your chest could be up a little bit more. That's good. Yeah. It feels unnatural, but it's it shouldn't feel like tight or anything, but you just want to always have a little feeling of having this up a little bit more, having your sternum up. You can sometimes feel like it comes from here rather than from here, but if you just feel like a little bit of raising through there. Yeah. And then another thing to be careful about is that you don't want to sway back when you sing, so it's really easy to kind of get this going, and you want to have a little bit of a tuck in your pelvis.
Okay.
So you go, and then so if you feel like you find your feet, find your knees, and then get as tall as you possibly can, and then I usually give a little tuck to my pelvis at that point, and that's kind of finding good alignment. Another way I find it, and I'll probably do this with you in all your lessons, is just you reach all the way up with your hands and your arms as far as you possibly can. Just try to grow 3 inches. Just think about growing as tall as you possibly can, and have your palms this way, and then just arms down. We talked about this last time. Your shoulder blades just kind of tuck in a little bit, I think. And so that helps you get that chest wide open for you too. So good. Okay, let's go back and do that breathing exercise again, and just making sure that stays. You stay in that great alignment, and always check in with that in your practicing your alignment. Okay. One more time. So nice open breath, and exhale and stay nice and free. Just move a little bit your shoulders and your body. Yeah, good. Good, yeah, and you want to just feel like you end with lots of energy. Just end with as much energy as you began. One way you can do that is kind of just give a little bit of, you just kind of engage those muscles in your back a little bit, which they're kind of hard to feel sometimes, but when you're at the end of your breath, just kind of feel like, think about sort of flexing your muscles in the back, and that can often give you a little bit of energy at the end of a phrase. Okay, let's do a good, and same thing on F. Good. And have you ever been asked to pant like a dog in your lessons?
No.
Okay, so you're going to do that when you're going to do Good. So that's a really good one for just getting things energized, right? You feel your abs working when you do it. You don't want to do it too much because you can get a little tight in here. We never want to be tight in our abs. We want to be as flabby as possible in this area. Right. So it's like one time in your life you actually want to be flabby right here. It's for singing. So trying to stay as free as possible, but it's a good energizing exercise. So one more time. Yeah, very, very good. Okay, good. One more exercise for breathing actually that could be useful is it's sort of like a Pilates thing. If you've ever done Pilates, you do so 2 in, 2 out on F. Okay, and let's just do that like 3 or 4 times. Yeah, good. So just some things you can do right before you get started with the tone. Let's switch over to do some lip trills now like we did last time. We'll do starting here. We'll Good. So the lip trill is such a good tool because it teaches you where your breath is stopping on you. We always want to, like I said before, your breath should be consistently flowing all the time. And if your lips stop, that means your breath kind of stopped on you, right? Mm-hmm. So just trying to be as free as you possibly can. It doesn't necessarily tell you exactly how to fix it, but it just shows you where it's happening, right? Okay, so go ahead. Very good. We need to do kind of what your old teacher had said to do, even with a lip trill, even with something when you're not in the music. You need to be thinking about breathing a little earlier, because what I'm hearing is sort of waiting until that. Okay. So what I want is more like already breathing. So it feels like a cycle. It's not a feeling of like stopping the breath and starting again, but you just immediately start breathing again. And another thing I don't think I mentioned is that you want your breath to be as quiet as possible, because if you're hearing that kind of thing, that that means there's, again, tension, that you're pulling air in rather than kind of just letting air come in. Okay. So don't forget about the breath being yawny. That's kind of what helps you to keep the breath quiet. Okay. Let's try that again. Over here. A lot better. So just work on that. You feel like you seem like you're a little out of breath. Do you feel like you're taking maybe too much air in a little bit, possibly? Because it seems like at the end you're kind of like, sometimes there was a little extra breath happening, so I was hearing like that kind of feeling, so it makes me think it's actually maybe a little too much breath. So the weird thing about singing is that it's not about how much you take in, unless you're trying to sing really, really high, then it kind of is. But in your middle voice, which is kind of where we are right now, it's more about just how you use the breath. So you don't actually have to take all that much in. So I like to have students kind of experiment with not like taking very, very little in. Okay. So don't feel like you have to pack too much in. Okay, it'll get in your way over time. Okay, can we just do some and for right now, as heady as you can, with that lofty feeling. Good, let's go up. We're doing the same thing, but no H this time. So ooey ooey. Okay. And as you get higher, you let your vowel go a little bit, so you don't want to be ooey, but just oi oi, sort of hinting at it more. One more, just make sure that breath is really yawny. Yeah. It's really hard to get to sing high when your throat's a little bit closed on you. That's kind of what I feel like is happening right now. It's like you're not actually quite as open as you need to be there. So practice that feeling of really that yawny breath. Can you just say no with a yawny breath? No. Yeah. No. Yes, good. It feels ridiculous. Yeah. That's the feeling you need to have when you sing. Can we try a couple of those again with that in mind? Ooey. Just say la, and then sing this. So just go la. Yeah, now. Yeah. Good. Again, same thing. La. Good. Alright, so you have to just do it by yourself. Yeah, a little higher. There you go. That's it. Now try to sing. Yeah. So I use speech a lot in singing, like to find things in singing, because I think we can, like, for example, if you're trying to belt something, we can find it through the way we speak very easily. Chest voice is the way we speak, and so it comes naturally. But you can also do it with your funny head voice, right? So when you talk in the silly voice, it's really easy to find it in your singing. So I'll have you do that quite a bit, I think, to find that. Okay? Yeah, good. Let's just do some same thing, just do it now. Yeah, and just say, we'll do so just in a sort of a non-pitch, and then yeah, same thing here. It makes a big difference, really good. You're very good. You're doing very Beautiful, yeah, going up. And do it a little higher than the pitch you're going to sing. So if we're here, we're going to be, so we're going to throw your voice a little bit. Good. Good. Yeah. Really throw it. Yeah. You feel the difference?
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah. And your throat's a lot more open, so it doesn't sound sort of squeezed as you go for those higher notes. Yeah, very good. Okay, let's switch to a different exercise. Can we just do, I'm just going to stay in the middle voice here. If we do some, just going through vowels. E-A-O, with the M in the beginning. Almost, yeah, so mi-a-a-o-u. Mi-a-a-o-u, yeah. Good for you. Good. All right, I want you to watch yourself in the mirror as we do these again, and see if you can actually do everything with just your tongue. So you have except for like little bits with your lips, but not with the jaw, so you're not controlling anything there, and just make it as legato, as linear as you possibly can. So one long line. Oops, that's not the right chord. It's beautiful. Can you be careful about little H's creeping in here? Like me, hey, ha, so me, hey, ha. Really think sloppy. There you go. Very good. Good. Yeah, same thing going up again. So the H just started to creep back in a little bit that time. You hear that? You can hear it yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So just let you correct it yourself now. Good for you. And just do, can we do me? So the same thing we were doing before with that funny voice before you start. Me. Good. That's really good. Yeah. Can you feel when you do the me? It's like really heady, right? You feel like it's like no core to your voice. I want you to go with that for right now. So try to avoid the that thing that you're used to. Just play around with this really heady thing. So try to avoid the core of your voice. So again, same thing. Me. Now back to the. I'm trying to keep the H's out.
Yeah,
too. Sorry,
I know it's like 10
things at one time. So what did you not like about that?
The H's.
Actually, I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was as bad. Okay, it's okay. You're very picky. What I didn't like was when you went to the A vowel, it felt like you kind of wanted to hold on to something. So I just think sort of airy, floaty right now. Okay. And this time you're gonna go. This is your no, but I want you to go even higher. Okay. Pretty good, yeah. So that's how I want you to practice that. So focusing on making sure that you don't hear those H's, because that means your breath is kind of like not entirely connected. And also just doing that little whoa, the head voice every time you start. And then of course just watching yourself so that you don't have that too much happening with the jaw. Just a throwing a lot at you today, but
No, that's fine.
in general with singing, we always want to kind of minimize the changes. So if you your jaw is really, everyone has a jaw that is a culprit for creating too many changes in a line. So if we do things like me o, it kind of changes everything, versus me o sounds a little more consistent. And in repertoire, when you're actually working on songs, your jaw really gets in your way if you're doing too much with it. So whenever you can, we want to just let the jaw kind of hang there and let the tongue do the work more. Okay. Good. Let's do one more exercise here, and then we'll talk about your music. Can we do some? This is different. We'll do okay. So you're gonna do close on your hum, and then okay. That's it, yeah. Let's do the same thing again. And if you can, don't breathe right in the middle. So you want to close your hum, and use your hum to kind of propel you. I'll do it with you one time. That's usually helpful. On your own. Keep thinking about those breaths, making sure they're not loud. If you hear your breath, that's not what we want. Okay, so as quiet as possible. And what's the way we can make them quiet again?
Yawn.
Yeah, if you do that.
Soft palate.
Yeah, that feeling of lifting the soft palate. Yeah, and same thing as we talked about at the very beginning here, is being really careful that as you get high, you let your vowel release a little bit, so you don't do oh, but oh, just open it up a little bit for you. Much better, really good. Good, no job. Yeah. And you can also just let your jaw drop a little bit for you. So as you get higher, you let your jaw just let go a little bit for you. Good. All right, so those are the exercises I'd like you to kind of work on this week. Just start with those and do some of those breathing things too. And basically with all these things, if you just keep thinking about keeping your breath quiet and taking those yawny breaths and that head voice as much as possible, that's what we want to work on right now. So, okay, good. So tell me, do you want to work on, let's maybe just work on one of these songs today, or we'll see, which one do you feel more comfortable with at this point?
Kamryn.
Okay.
Yeah, because I
know,
I was listening to it and I was trying to get it, but I just couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I haven't looked at your sheets yet, but so you couldn't find much of anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that's good because it makes you just write what you think about the song, like what your opinions are. So did you find a recording of it?
On YouTube of like some
another
girl
student
in her room. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I love YouTube. Yeah. That may not be like the authority on the cherry tree exactly, but yeah. Okay. That's interesting. I don't know why it's so hard to find.
Maybe I was just like looking up the wrong thing.
I don't know.
But
I don't know. No worries about it. But as long as you do the work, I don't. You don't have to come up with everything exactly. So, okay. So Caro Mio Ben. So let's see. We need to do a word by word translation. You did it. Great.
Yeah.
Let's probably add them. Okay. Hi, Adam. How are you?
Wow.
Hi, I'm Kamryn. Nice to meet you.
Oh, you're going to recite Caro Mio Ben. Are you going to be okay?
I will do my best.
Okay. Yes. It's a classic Caro Mio Ben. So,
Yeah.
I've got my water. Excuse me. All right, so we're actually just talking about it and trying to figure out what it's all about. So tell me, you have your translation here. So, you know, you have a word-by-word translation. Can you sum it up for me and just tell me kind of the gist of what it's about?
Like, what I got from it was that there was this man, I'm taking it from a man's perspective, kind of, but he's so in love with someone else, but the problem is that he's getting so much cruelty put on him, and so it's his, like, feelings are super conflicted,
Okay.
but he still loves her to, like, an insane amount, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Because love does all kinds of crazy things to
Yeah.
us, right? Makes us, things that it's like you're so in love that it's like painful, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in music we find.
Mm-hmm.
So could you just read through the translation for me so you can just think about it like in English a little bit?
So I have a different translation than I think on that one.
Okay.
But it's, thou all my bliss, believe but this, where thou art far, my heart is lorn. Thou all my bliss, when thou art far, my heart lorn. Thy lover true ever doth sigh, do but forgo such cruel scorn. Do but forgo such cruel scorn, cruel scorn.
Okay.
Thou all my bliss, but believe this.
Good. Okay, and now actually read this one for me because this is your word by word. That's the English version, right?
Okay.
So can you just read this one for me and just...
My dear beloved, believe me at last, without you my heart languishes. Your faithful one always sighs, sees cruel one. So much punishment. My dear beloved, believe me at least.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take this back. Do you have any questions first of all about the diction on this? I know Italian you're just now starting Italian diction, so.
Yeah, I think I have most of the R's where they need to be.
Okay.
Like I went in and wrote them all down, and I also have IPA in here.
Good, yeah.
But for the most part, I think I know. I'd like to think I know.
And we'll let you know if it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's see. I want to see if there's anything else that I wanted to. Yeah. So you just go through these questions a little bit. How did you think the composer expresses the text of the music? You said the term dolce is used constantly as a dynamic throughout the song, meaning sweetly just as love is and feels. The high notes contrasting with the low notes to me represent the high notes of highs and lows of love. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
But they always seem to rebuild themselves to a new high. Yeah, I like that. It's good. And what challenges did you feel this song presents to you?
Well, I think it's because I don't really sing high very often. I think that might be one of the hard parts. And also I've always had a problem with, like, expression in foreign language songs. I don't know why. Like, I know what they're about.
Because it's like, but, like, you don't speak the language.
Yeah,
so it's strange.
and
yeah.
so it's like I know what they're about, but yeah.
Well, so my goal for you is to not just have like the translation written in, but I mean that's a starting point, but to memorize the translation so that when you look at it, you actually these words, you suddenly feel like you're a native Italian speaker. It's it's not that much. So over time, you will just memorize what these words mean.
Okay.
So the translation should. That's why I say on my sheet here, when are you going to have your translation memorized?
Mm-hmm.
You said Wednesday, September 9th. Good for you.
Yeah.
So a week from today, you want to actually have it memorized, so you don't have to like look. And if I ask you what a word means, you won't have to look at your score, right? You'll have it memorized in your mind. And then I think you'll find, give it a few weeks, and you'll realize I'm actually expressing in this language because I've memorized what these words mean. Okay. All right. I think that's. And you listen to Malena Ehrenmann. This is okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. You probably find a lot of YouTube videos of students, not professionals, singing this. So okay. Let me grab my score and we'll go for it. Sorry, wait 1 second. Let's use the music stand instead of, so it'll help you with your body alignment. And just get the stand in position. You're a lot taller than I am, just in a place where you don't have to be looking down. Good. Going back forward at the moment, everybody makes that mistake after the there's a chord he's gonna play right after you finish, and then you're gonna come in together on the next beat. Yeah, so just you have to wait for him before you jump into that next. That's why I didn't line up exactly right through there. I like that you're carrying across certain things that a lot of people don't do, so that's actually really good. That's really nice. Looking back at Cessa crudel tanto rigor, something went a little funny there just in the way the words, the syllables and the notes worked together, right? Okay. So can we just speak through I tuo fedel in rhythm, just that section, and try to line things up a little?
I tuo fedel sospiragno Cessa crudel tanto rigor.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the first time I think something went funny.
Yeah, I think I accidentally moved the toe.
Yeah, no big deal. So just making sure that's clear. One thing about breathing, I would highly recommend that you take a breath on the first page. This is your second entrance on this. You have C, B flat, A flat, caro mio ben. After that half note, get a good breath right there. Okay. So that you can get through senza di te languisce cor all in one breath, which I'm sure you can do if you plan ahead.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think your breathing is working pretty well for you. Okay. And like I said, I like that you're definitely carrying across rigor, caro mio. Not everybody can do that. You're doing it, so that's really nice. And you get a good breath after that for credi mi almen. Good. Just diction-wise, just be a little bit careful that your T's are not American T's. It's a hard thing to get out of our system, but te, we want te, more of a dental T, so it's a little softer, which I'm sure you're talking about in Italian diction. And senza should be a Z, senza, right? Senza di te. Like a TS.
TS, so, yeah, that's what I have written.
Yeah, so that's a sound that even if you're attempting to do it correctly, it very often comes out sounding like senza, and some recordings you'll hear will sound like senza, but for our purposes, we want you to do senza with a TS. Okay. And Yeah, I think you're doing a pretty good job with the C's, if I remember correctly. Caro, right? Not being caro, not being aspirate, right? Like an American K kind of sound, but caro, mio ben. Actually, just because we can, let's just speak through the Italian one time just to make sure it all feels comfortable to you. Okay, so just not in rhythm, just speak the words.
So, caro mio ben, credimi almen, senza di te, de. Is it de or
te? So it's like, it is a T, it's not a D, but it feels closer to a D.
Okay.
Te.
Languisce il cor.
Languisce il cor. I couldn't quite hear all of that happening, like languisce il. And in Italian, we have to get all those little vowels in there. Sce il. Languisce il cor. Yeah.
And then caro mio ben.
And then, let's see. And then quanto il tuo fedele.
Il tuo fedele sospira agnor.
Sospira. Yeah, that's right. Just can you do it a little slower? So
Yeah. Cessa crudel, tanto rigor.
So tanto is a little bit softer. Yeah.
Tanto
I would
rigor.
rather it sound like a D right now, I think, than a
Okay.
T, just for just to get it in your system that way. And have Dr. Motegi talked to you about double consonants? Cessa.
Cessa.
Yeah, when you have like two S's like that, you're going to sort of linger on them. So cessa, a little bit, just linger. You're actually kind of doing it, but I think you could do it a little bit more.
Okay.
Cessa crudel.
Cessa.
Yeah, and if you could roll the R, can you roll your R's?
Yeah.
Crudel. Yeah, so cessa crudel.
Cessa crudel.
Good, and then tanto rigor.
Tanto rigor.
Tanto, yeah, just
Tanto
as soft as
rigor.
possible for right now.
Tanto.
Yeah, and the A's in Italian are also just going to be a little more like ah, not so much like aw.
Okay.
Right? Which, yeah, sometimes that is a little tricky because we're trying to work on your head voice, and so it's harder to do it with an ah than an aw. But okay, good. Yeah, I think that's the whole text, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, let's start it again, and I'll stop you.
Okay.
You do 2.5 measures.
Just go real slow. Make sure you get all that in there. Yeah, and I think what you're doing to not put the little turn in is actually a good thing for right now. Do you have little notes right? Do you have? Do you have that?
Oh no, I don't.
Oh, that's why you're not doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
uh,
I've heard it on the recording, so.
yeah. So yeah. Well, just okay for right now. We're just not going to do it, but we'll maybe add those later. Okay. Can you actually just speak for me in the funny voice before we start? This time we're going to do the same thing again. Can you just do everything in the silly voice.
Caro mio ben, credimi almen, senza di te, languisce il cor.
Yeah, good. And
Sci il cor.
languisce il cor. Yeah, sci il cor. Yeah, and let's try to, even though it is going down the phrase for right now, caro mio ben, credimi, I want to get the whole thing up nice and high.
Caro mio ben, credimi almen, senza di te, languisce il cor.
Better, yeah. And let's do it one more time, and I want you to get a good singer breath, even though you're just going to speak. You're going to go really, really get that nice lofty feeling in your head, and just you don't want to lean into anything. You just want to feel nothing but heady, airy feeling. Yes.
Caro mio ben, credimi almen, senza di te, languisce il cor.
Pretty good, yeah. And just really flabby with your mouth, right? So you're not trying to pronounce words too much. I know this is all very new, so it's hard to not really focus on it, but I would rather just be a little sloppy when you're doing that voice, so you feel like everything's just heady. Okay, just, Adam's going to give you that same lead-in he just did, and while he does it, can you just go, caro mio in the funny voice, and then come in when it's your turn, okay?
Okay. Caro mio ben. Caro
In your score, do you have tanto rigor? Do you have a dog rhythm right there? Or are we just here? Where are we? Let's see. Tanto rigor. Oh, right here, this one. I think you were dotting a little bit right there. I think that happened both times. So yeah. Tanto rigor. I think that's what I was hearing from you. So tanto rigor. Just make sure those eighth notes are even for you. Yep. Yeah, and keep working on those T's. They're just, it's just so easy for them to become tanto every single time.
Okay.
But yeah, I really like, you're doing some really, really nice things. That makes a huge difference when you go, oh, before you start, okay? And I want to try doing it right now where you do, you do the same thing like we just did. Every time you have an interlude that he's playing, you're going to go, oh, and I want you to be even bigger about it. Really like throw your voice up there, oh, like we were doing before. And when there's the high note for the F up there, which is a little bit uncomfortable for you right now, I want you to actually not really sing it, okay? So you're going to do like, you're just going to sing sort of an ah up there, okay? Don't worry about the word for right now. We're just going to try to throw it out the same way we did before, trying to get that head voice. Okay, so how about right before you do a fade down, and you're going to do the do a fade down. Solid beats before you move it. It's going to feel very long to you right there, okay? Some really nice things. That's in general, whenever the note feels a little bit high and it feels like you don't quite know how to sing it right now, and to say a word up there like chesa on an F, or even tanto, I want you to just let the word go a little bit more. So, just to sort of do you can even just do a fake sound up there. You don't actually have to sing the note too much right now. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So we're just trying to free things up a little bit up there so your throat doesn't feel closed when you go for that higher pitch.
Okay.
Good. Let's see. Let's do the whole thing one more time, okay? And now the other thing I want to add to this whole equation is just to get your chest up a little bit higher, right?
Okay.
You think you're starting out fine, but as we all do, you're kind of creeping down as you sing. So that nice feeling of your sternum kind of staying nice and high for you as you do this. Okay. One more time, and just keep throwing out that sound whenever you feel like it might be helpful to you. Okay. Try to get a breath in there. I think you're gonna regret it if you don't. But it's beautiful. Yeah. You're being very good not looking at it. Okay, right there on that entrance.
Oh.
Okay, great. A lot of nice things happening. I think just focus on nangui sheil kor. Make sure that you're. It's just hard to wrap your mouth around right now. Be a little careful. Every once in a while, you hear an American R creeping in. So caro. Just every once in a while. You're actually doing quite well with that. But just careful about that every once in a while. And then just trying to let those high notes feel free and let them go a little bit, but we'll keep working on it. But I think this is a nice start. So, actually, when you keep your chest up, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So don't forget to do that too.
Okay.
So, all right, great.
Awesome.
So we'll do maybe probably this and the cherry tree next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And then I'll get you some more rep. That's not what you're gonna do. Thanks, Adam.
Mm-hmm.